Well, good morning, everyone, and greetings from the graduate school, and welcome to the new graduate student orientation. It's exciting to greet you, albeit virtually, on this beautiful winter day in Kentucky. It's snowing here. It looks magical and beautiful outside. So greetings from the graduate school. Before I provide my welcome remarks, I'd like to introduce the graduate school staff and team. They work incredibly hard to help get you admitted and during your graduate studies here and help you matriculate and complete your program requirements in a timely manner. They provide outstanding service to faculty and staff at Western Kentucky University, and so in alphabetical order, I will introduce the graduate school team. The first is Ms. Barbara Chaffin, who works on the admission side and is the admissions coordinator. Unfortunately, she is unable to join with us and welcome you. She wishes and greets all of you. She has worked very hard and has processed, I'm sure, all of your applications in some form or shape. The second person I'd like to introduce is fortunately with us, Ms. Jamie DeYoung. She joined last fall and has already made an impact in our operations. She serves as the Assistant Director of Graduate Operations. Ms. DeYoung, do you want to introduce yourselves and what you do to help in the success of our students?
Sure. Good morning, welcome. I am Jamie DeYoung, as Dr. Kudali said, and I work specifically most often sort of with the records, and you'll get to meet Lisa pretty soon. So we work with you after you've been admitted and started taking classes, and work side by side with the programs. And then I'll let Lisa talk about her helping get you graduated. So welcome, and we are excited to have you here.
Thank you, Ms. Young. The next staff member I'd like to introduce is Ms. Elizabeth Dorr. Her official title is Office Coordinator, but she does hundreds of things, replying to emails, visiting with students in person, picking up the phone lines, and helping with recruitment, admissions, you name it. And so it's great to have her in our operations. Ms. Dorr, you want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi, everyone. So if you call or email the grad school, you're most likely speaking to me. I am happy to help you with any questions that you have along the way or concerns. Please feel free to reach out at any time. And I look forward to working with you all in the future.
Well, thank you so very much. We call her Lizzie. Ms. Dorr, thank you so very much for your help in the success of students. The next individual I'd like to introduce is Dr. Scott Gordon, and he serves as the manager for recruitment and retention. And because of his hard work and efforts, we have been able to recruit many of you to our fine graduate programs. Dr. Gordon?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Gordon, and as Dr. Kudali said, I do work with recruitment and retention. So hopefully the recruitment phase of your time with us is over, but definitely the retention phase is something that will continue until you graduate. So that's what we're very focused on and interested in, providing you with the best opportunities so that you can successfully complete your graduate program here. And if there's anything that we can do as an office, or if I can do individually to assist you, please reach out and let me know. I'll be glad to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gordon, for all that you do. The next individual I'd like to recognize is Ms. Julie Harris. She works very closely with Barbara Chaffin and is the graduate admissions analyst. In every application, she scrutinizes carefully and ensures that the admission requirements are met. Ms. Harris?
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Clearly, you have worked with Barb and I as you come through the application and admission process. If there's anything else that we can help you with moving forward, just give us a call, come by and visit with us, email us. Congratulations on your admission, and go Tops.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. She has provided over 16 years of outstanding and consistent service, and I remain grateful. Ms. Samantha Haynes is our Research and Graduate Education Outreach Coordinator. Like Ms. Elizabeth Dorr, she does 100 things and is a valuable asset, not only to the graduate school, but also to the Office of Research and Creative Activity. Many of the events and professional development workshops we organize are a success thanks to faculty and staff, but primarily Ms. Hines' help. She's a graduate student herself, actually. So Ms. Hines.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I am a graduate student. I'm in a master's program while I work here. You will probably see lots of emails from me regarding our professional development, things like GRE strategy workshops. We also send things to help you just on a personal basis. So you'll see things from the counseling center, different workshops that we offer through that. So emails from me are resources to you. So please try to pay attention to them. And I hope to meet some of you soon.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Hines, for everything that you do. The next individual I'd like to recognize is Ms. Lisa Myers. She's the Graduate Record Specialist and will be reviewing your progress. And we'll talk about degree works later. Ms. Myers.
Hi, welcome everyone. I just wanted to let you know, once you complete the application process, I will follow your matriculation all the way from admission to doing your final degree audit. And listen closely when they start talking about degree works. That's where you can check your audit to see where your courses are applying. And it's one of the most useful tools that we've transitioned over to since my time here at Western. So welcome aboard.
Wonderful. So we are interested in student success, and Ms. Jessica Doris from the Registrar's Office will join us later. And we have got rid of paper forms. And so Degree Works is a tool that you can access at any time to see how you're making progress towards your completion of degree. And it has several other very useful features that Ms. Doris will talk about. The next individual, Ms. Renee Purdy, serves as the business manager and helps in processing your graduate assistantships, graduate research grants that we will talk about later. But unfortunately, she's unable to join with us. And I remain grateful to her for her hard work in helping each of you. In addition, we work very closely with information technology services, and I remain grateful to Ms. Gina Johnson, who is a program analyst in ITS. In fact, she comes to our graduate school staff meetings to see how she can automate things and help increase operational efficiencies. So I'm deeply grateful to all the staff that I have listed for their creativity, their hard work, and in ensuring that we provide a high level of quality service to students, faculty, and staff at Western Kentucky University, WKU. Well, new graduate students, congratulations on being accepted to WKU. Graduate students at WKU have made notable contributions to several disciplines and have been recognized for their research and creative scholarship. Today, you join an incredible group of such talented students. Graduate education builds upon your foundation from your bachelor's degree and provides highly specialized, in-depth, focused, and advanced knowledge. Graduate studies help you pursue cutting-edge research, scholarly work, help you generate new knowledge, hone your critical thinking skills, enhance your problem-solving skills, help you with professional development skills, helps you become credentialed, etc. As you embark on a new phase in your career, we want to ensure you that we are fully committed to your intellectual growth and professional development. The graduate school has partnered with several units on campus, and as Ms. Samantha Hines had indicated, we will be communicating with you about these workshops. We will provide you with resources to help you successfully navigate the complexities of graduate education. So please pay attention to those emails. These are not spam. These are resources and opportunities that we would like you to fully make use of and pay attention to the emails from us. graduate school is also fully committed to the practice of inclusive excellence. We value each of you as you bring new perspectives, ideas, thoughts, talents, and gifts that enrich our lives and provide a positive and lasting impact to all of us. In closing, congratulations and welcome to the Hilltopper family. Thank you and wish you the very best. I'll share a PowerPoint now to give you an idea of what the schedule is. And once we have Ms. Jessica Doris join with us, I'll yield to the Zoom session to her. Until then, please bear with me. I'll just share some high-level details. So I'm hoping that you can see this screen, and bear with me for a moment. Multiple screens. So I'm hoping you can see the second slide here, which provides you with an idea of what is in store for the next almost 2 hours or so. So the welcome remarks, as I said, I've just completed. Provost Fisher has a hectic schedule. He is the Chief Academic Officer and has indicated that he will strive to find some time between his busy schedule and welcome and greet you all. If not, he wishes you the very best as you embark on a new phase in your career. From 10:15 to about 10:30, we will have a presentation from Ms. Jessica Doris, who works in the Office of the Registrar. Ms. Jamie DeYoung and Ms. Lisa Myers work very closely with the Office of the Registrar to ensure that the courses that you take and any exceptions you may require are processed in a timely manner, and they help you complete your degree and program requirements in a timely manner. Subsequent to that presentation, we will have a short presentation from Dr. Carl Lawis. He serves as the Associate Director of the Counseling Center. The Graduate School has partnered with the Counseling Center to host a series of workshops. We are deeply interested in your mental health and well-being. We understand that graduate studies can be very demanding, and we would like you to have a good balance of work and life, if you will. And Dr. Lawis will talk about the resources that WKU Counseling Center will provide to help you complete your degree programs successfully. Pursuant to that, we'll have a panel with faculty and staff talking about graduate research and creative scholarship opportunities. The Graduate School, in coordination with the Office of Research, administers graduate research grants. And so we would like you to know about opportunities to obtain money to pursue research and creative scholarship opportunities. Dr. Birch serves as the chair of the Graduate Council Research Committee and helps the Graduate School facilitate the selection of these research grant awards. And finally, we would like you to thrive, and we have set up a roundtable with some student representatives from 4 of the colleges, and Dr. Scott Gordon will join us back at around 11:15 or so, and you will hear from current graduate students and get some tips as to how you can thrive and how you can manage your personal life and graduate studies. So this, in a nutshell, is the plan that we have for the orientation here. Before we move to Ms. Jessica Doris, we have some exciting announcement from ROTC. And so there are scholarship opportunities through ROTC, and I welcome information about the ROTC scholarship. Thank you.
I
Sam-
don't believe he has joined us yet, so we may just come back to him if we want to go on to Jessica.
Okay, sure. So Ms. Doris, thank you for joining with us.
Hi
Um,
there, good morning.
I've just given a preview of Degree Works, so the stage is all yours. Thank you so very much for taking your time to talk about Degree Works, which is a very important tool to help in student success.
Yes, happy to be here. I am first going to apologize for not having a camera. Our desktops are not equipped with them at work, and I'm on my desktop computer this morning. So you don't get to see my lovely face, and I'm sorry about that. But I am going to go ahead and share probably the most useful thing that you will use in your time here at WKU, at least in my very humble opinion. So let me just make sure that I'm sharing the right screen. And can everybody see a Degree Works screen currently? And it says
Yes.
Degree Works is the degree audit. Perfect. Thank you, Samantha. So the first thing I want to tell you about before I go into actually showing you how to best navigate your Degree Works audit is exactly what Degree Works is. You've heard about it a couple of times this morning, and so I want to make sure that you're aware of exactly what it is. So it is a web-based tool that provides basically a clear and convenient method for you, your academic advisor, and any of your faculty advisors to track your degree progress, to prepare for registration, and then of course to plan for your upcoming graduation, we hope. Degree Works is going to match your academic and course history against the degree requirements as defined by our university catalog. So that kind of brings me first and foremost to our academic catalog. So I do want to share, I hope, some quick links for you today. Let me see if I can access the chat here. All right. So I'm going to post first and foremost our academic catalog. This particular link that I just put in the chat is going to bring you to our academic catalog. So as a student that's being admitted in the spring 23 semester, you are going to be bound by the catalog requirements of the 22-23 graduate catalog. And basically what the catalog does is it houses information on academic policies, any services that are available to you as a graduate student, course offerings, but most importantly, it is going to show you all of the degree requirements that are going to be needed, including your GPA requirements, your course requirements, all the way through up to graduation. So it's going to outline that progress for you. You can find all of your program information down here on the left side. So if you are to look at any of these, say you're interested in the accounting, or you're in the program of accounting, these are going to be all of your program requirements listed out here for you. So a very comprehensive look at everything that's going to be expected of you as a graduate student. So now this gets us into why Degree Works. So Degree Works, this is where it comes in because it's going to track your progress along the way to graduation. So I want to show you a couple of different ways to navigate to Degree Works. So is everybody familiar with how to, I hope, log into TopNet? If you are not, become very familiar, because this is going to, TopNet is going to drive your registration. This is where you can pay tuition. This is where you can find all of your advisor information. All of this information is out there in TopNet for you to use. So everyone now should be seeing my TopNet screen. And on here, if you want to navigate to your Degree Works audit, all you're going to go is under Student Services, hit Degree Works, or Degree Audit, excuse me. And that is going to bring you to your audit, which it would help if I had a student in there. I'm sorry about that. Give me just a second.
Oh, where'd they go? I lost them.
everybody still hearing me okay? All right, so here is our DegreeWorks audit. So that will bring you, that is one way to launch DegreeWorks. The next way to launch DegreeWorks is actually through our website, which is I'm going to show you a little bit later in the presentation. First, within the DegreeWorks audit, I'm going to show you basically how to navigate DegreeWorks. So how to read your DegreeWorks audit. If this is something that you're looking at now that we've got the access to technology on this particular session, you might be able to actually go along with your DegreeWorks audit with me, and you can see exactly what you're looking at, but it pertains to you and your academic record. So what you're seeing up here is what we call our dashboard. This is going to show you your cumulative GPA, so any undergraduate GPA if you attended WKU, it will show your graduate GPA, your advisor information, student ID information. All of this stuff is listed here for you to see a quick snapshot of what's going on. Then we go down into your degree progress. Now, granted, mine's going to look a little bit different from you because I'm going to be an administrator. You guys are going to be looking at it from the student perspective. So you won't see this process button. You're not going to see the student view, but you should see this degree progress wheel. This is going to show you your progress towards your graduation requirements. We hope that one day that will read 100%. That's what we want to see. If it doesn't, that's where Lisa Myers and her folks within the graduate school come in. And so then we move on down into the audit. So we have our degree block and we divide everything, we call everything blocks. So this is our degree block. This is going to show us what the cumulative GPA requirement. It will also tell us about what catalog year you're under as a result of being in DegreeWorks and being admitted in the 22-23 graduate catalog. Then we go down into the program requirements itself. So anywhere that you are, when you're in here, you're going to see your program GPA, any requirements as a result of being in that particular program. So with this particular student, they are enrolled in the organizational leadership program. They have to complete all of their courses with a grade of C or better. And so it tells them all of that up here, just as a suggestion and a bit of advice as they're looking through their DegreeWorks audit. Anywhere where you see these red circles, those are areas that are not complete. So those are outstanding requirements that will need to be completed prior to graduation. Anywhere where you see these blue half circles, that means that this student is actually in progress of completing this particular requirement. And then you should, once you've completed a requirement, we hope see a green check mark. And that will mean that that particular requirement has been completed and has been checked off of your list. So you're welcome to then move on to the next program requirement. A couple of really cool features for our students to know about. These are all clickable links. So if you are interested or you're kind of trying to figure out the difference between LEAD 560 and EDSN 500, you just click on these links. It brings up a course description, and then additionally, it will tell you any future sections of that particular course that are going to be offered, which I think is a really great feature whenever you're going through to registration and you're trying to plan out. I'm a planner. I like to plan out my semesters. I like to plan out ahead. And so this is something that once we have those future semesters out there, you should be able to more appropriately plan ahead for the next semester as far as registration goes. But all of these are clickable. And then anything with this clipboard next to it means that a prerequisite exists, which means that there is a course that you have to take prior to enrolling in this particular course. So if we click on LEAD 580, you should see what that prerequisite is. So LEAD 580 requires LEAD 500 with a minimum grade of C. So it will tell you all of those prerequisites once you click on those links. And then any courses that do not apply towards this particular block will go into a block that's not on this particular audit, but it does say additional courses. because additional courses aren't going to count towards that degree progress. So do make sure if you have any courses within that additional courses block within your degree audit, you'll want to talk to Lisa Myers or somebody within the graduate school, or first probably your advisor, about getting those exceptions handled to hopefully then force those particular courses into the audit if applicable. And then a couple other cool features that I want to show while I've got a couple more minutes left. If you are, as I said, a planner, and you want to use our What If feature, it's right here in the middle of the screen. You can actually plan out future courses or see how future courses will fit into your audit. So if we click, we do LEAD 525, hit, and then BDAN 513, and then hit add. These are going to be perhaps these courses that the student wants to take in the future. We process this. It is going to show us exactly how those courses will actually filter into the audit. So you'll be able to see if they do fall into additional courses or towards the program, or if they fall into your actual major block, which is where we want to see them. Another really great feature of DegreeWorks and the What If audit is if we go to, say, this particular student is interested in changing to an instructional design certificate, or maybe adding that on perhaps. What we can do is the student can come here, they can look at instructional design. It will populate that particular program. We hit process, and then this will show the student exactly what courses are required for the instructional design. So that is just kind of a cool feature if you're interested in ever looking into additional certificates, or if you're interested in changing your program, or changing something, maybe a concentration within your program, anything like that. Those are things that you can do through that What If feature, which is an excellent feature within DegreeWorks. If you do have any questions about your DegreeWorks audit or what you are seeing, the first point of contact is always going to be your academic advisor. And then from there, if there's any additional work that needs to be done on our end or the graduate school's end, then your advisor will get in contact with either Lisa Myers or with either myself, and we'll take a look at whatever you need as far as the graduate, your degree audit goes in the future. If I've got a couple more minutes, I do want to share maybe just a few quick links. So first is going to be, this is going to launch your DegreeWorks audit, this link that I'm sending through the chat right now. And that can launch your DegreeWorks audit. We do prefer that you go through TopNet. And then I do want to show this link as well, which is our DegreeWorks website. If you are ever having any questions, or you're stuck, or perhaps you need a form, or you're not sure of what you're seeing on the DegreeWorks audit, we do have a glossary of terms. So as you are going through the DegreeWorks audit, if these are symbols that you're not familiar with, you can look at our glossary of terms, and that should hopefully clear up any confusion you may have. We also do have our set of forms on here. So specific to graduate students, we do have 2 forms on here that you may work on with your advisor, those exception forms, or if there's a need for a catalog year change, those are things that you can do right here. And then we do also have, what I find to be very helpful, are some tutorials. So if what you've heard today isn't quite enough and you're wanting a little bit more DegreeWorks background or information, we do have information on how to read your DegreeWorks audit, how to run a What If audit, and then of course our academic plans are in there as well. So if any of those features will help you in the future, we certainly want you to head to this link. It's just wku.edu/degreeworks. And that will set you in hopefully the right direction in getting a tutorial or a refresher, if you will, on DegreeWorks. So are there any questions or anything? Because I think I'm out of time.
Doris, thank you
All
so
right.
very much. Any questions from the students regarding registration of courses, DegreeWorks, catalog, etc.? Seems we have none, so please give a round of applause to Ms. Jessica Doris for her excellent presentation. Thank you so very much for taking time in the midst of your hectic schedule to visit and greet the new students, Ms. Doris. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You all have a great day.
We are also blessed to have the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Robert Bud Fisher, join with us. And Dr. Fisher, thank you so very much for taking your time to greet these new talented graduate students. We look forward to a few words of wisdom from you. Thank you so very much.
Well, all I would say is welcome to WKU. You're now a graduate student. I think being a graduate student was the best part of my whole career. It was a time where I could focus on the studies that I was truly interested in and I thought would be my long-term career. It also gave me a chance to be in an intellectual community that allowed me to advance as a scholar. And what I would challenge you to do is take advantage of all the activities that are offered by the graduate school and by WKU. By taking advantage of those, that will prepare you for your future and will allow you to become part of this community, which I think is a scholarly and intellectual community. So welcome. It's only fitting that we have snow today for you guys, just to get you used to Kentucky weather, which will be 60 later next week. Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy everything. And if you have any needs, let us know and we'll try to help you in any way possible. With that, have a great day.
Thank you, Provost Fisher. The Provost always tells the deans and the associate provosts that student success should be at the forefront of our operations. And so we are truly grateful for his leadership and his support for our graduate education. Our next planned item on the agenda is related to student success. And we are truly blessed to have Dr. Carl Lavis, the Associate Director of the Counseling Center, join with us. Dr. Lavis, along with Dr. Peggy Crow, who serves as the Director of the Counseling Center, and another key staff, Dr. Masama Matsuyuki, have helped in organizing several workshops and in providing resources and information about the services provided by the Counseling Center. So I now respectfully yield to Dr. Carl Lavis. Greetings for the new year, and thank you so very much for taking your time to join with these incredibly talented new graduate students.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Of no particular importance, I'm recovering from a hip replacement, so I've been kind of cut off from the world for a while. It seriously is. It's a joy to be able to interact with students. We share in your excitement. We share in what may be some anxiety for some of you, and just let me be up front. If any of you are feeling anxious, good, because that's normal, that's healthy, that's not a bad thing. At the Counseling Center at Western Kentucky University, we have a motto that that college should be challenging but not overwhelming. I think that applies to graduate school. It is a whole new ball game. It is at a higher level, And I hope that you can mediate your anxiety with the idea that you've been admitted, you've been accepted. In my opinion, that's the hardest thing you'll ever do. You've already made the cut. You have what you need to be here. You belong here. You still got to do the work, right? But you've been doing that kind of work for some time now. So most responsible institutions of higher education way back in the early 1900s decided that if you're going to bring a bunch of bright people together and give them a very rigorous academic load, that maybe you should also provide some support. I think that's why we have residence halls. That's why we have dining services. That's why you have advisors. That's why you have a library. I think that's why you have a counseling center. Sooner or later, all of us will get into a situation where it could help to sit down and talk with a professional counselor or a psychologist or a social worker. So universities picked up this idea and began creating counseling centers. I have worked here at Western Kentucky University for about 30 years. I think we have a really good counseling center, and I'm here today just to give you an idea of what it is, how it operates, so that somewhere over the next semester or so, if you start to just kind of feel like you're not really sure which end is up or why you're here, please don't panic. Don't think that something's wrong or that you're defective. Just think that you're doing what a lot of bright people do, and that's get into situations that are harder. And sometimes it helps to set up an appointment with a counselor and just talk it through and then decide where you want to go from there. Counseling center is in Potter Hall, which is up kind of on top of the hill. We're up on the 4th floor of Potter Hall. We have our hours are 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. We are a free service. Some counseling centers at other universities bill by the session or might have an initial fee. We don't have that. So there's no out-of-pocket cost for you. We are governed by state law and a national code of ethics, which means all the work that we do is confidential. We are the counseling center for the university, but our records, any notes that I keep on a student that I'm meeting with, are mine and the students alone. The university has no access. They can't check. They can't call over. When you become a client at the counseling center, everything that you talk about is considered confidential. So you don't need to worry about, is my advisor going to call? Is my coach going to check up on me? What are my parents going to drop by the counseling center and ask to talk to my counselor? That we don't do that. It's unethical and it is illegal. All of us on staff are professional mental health providers. As I mentioned before, we are psychologists, licensed professional counselors, or clinical social workers. We all hold degrees and we all hold license to practice. Two of us our psychologists at the doctoral level. As Dr. Kudali mentioned earlier, Masami Matsuyuki is our training coordinator. So she is a staff psychologist, but she also works with graduate students in the helping professions who are wanting to get clinical experience. We will meet and talk with people who have just about any kind of issue you can imagine. The stereotype of a college counseling center is that, well, it's where you go if you're homesick or you have test anxiety. And like I said, I've been doing this for 30 years. I could probably count on one hand the number of students that came into my office to talk about being homesick or just test anxiety. We work with students with very serious issues, long-term issues, and a wide range of issues. Parents are going through a messy divorce and the student's financial situation is in question. The students trying to get out of a bad relationship or trying to understand how to get into a good relationship. For graduate students, a lot of times there's just this confused feeling of your identity has now expanded. You were a professional and now you're a student, but you're also friends, family, spouse, parent. You got all these extra roles going on, and at the same time you're trying to fit into this new family, your department. We work with students that are suicidal. We work with students that are having trouble staying connected to reality. We work with a lot of students, and if it's something that we don't think we can help you with, we will make a referral, either in town or back in your hometown. We'll also get you connected with medical services if we think medication is indicated. And Western is very fortunate to have a health service center on campus that's being operated by a local medical entity. A hospital and larger agency has taken over those services. We have a close relationship with them, so most of the students that come to the counseling center, if we think medication would help, we suggest it. Within a day or two, they can get down to the student health service and get a prescription. So you have a lot of resources, a lot of services. And for today, I would say it's probably not that important that you remember all the details. Just remember, there is a counseling center, and this is what we do. We meet with students privately. We can do that in person. You can come to our counseling center in Potter Hall, sit in the privacy of a counselor's office and talk. But because of the pandemic, we very quickly trained up and started using Zoom. And we are continuing to provide counseling sessions by Zoom. And, for some students, that's much more convenient. It cuts down on the commuting, the hassle, if I can, the inconvenience sometimes of trying to find parking. So that would also be an option, face-to-face or by Zoom. So that's all that I wanted to dump on you. I'd be more than happy to respond to questions. But before I kind of wrap it up here, again, let me say thank you for choosing WKU.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Lavis. We appreciate the partnership since we started since fall 2020. And those workshops have truly been helpful in addition to the assistance that you provide for each of our students, including graduate students. We wish you a speedy and full recovery as well. And so thank you so very much. Please give a shout out to Dr. Lavish and for his well-being and health. Thank you so very much, Dr. Lavish.
Appreciate it. Thank you much.
So thank you so again, Dr. Lavish, for your short presentation and completing in a timely manner. We are joined by Dr. Katrina Birch, who is an outstanding research faculty in the Department of Psychological Sciences. As I had indicated previously, she's passionate about graduate education and is the chair of the Graduate Council Research Committee, and I truly value her services to the graduate students. Along with her, I'd also like to introduce another key staff member, but this time from the Office of Research, Ms. Robin Piles. So as I pull my presentation, Dr. Birch, would you like to just briefly introduce yourself? Thank you so very much.
Sure. Hi, I'm Dr. Katrina Birch. I'm the program coordinator for the Industrial Organizational Psychology concentration for the MS in Psychology program in the Department of Psychological Sciences. And I've been serving on Graduate Council now for a year and a half. And I, like Dr. Kudali had mentioned, am the chair of the Graduate Student Research Grant Committee. So when you submit research grants and or travel grants, myself and my team review those and recommend funding through the graduate school.
Thank you so very much for your services to the Graduate Council and the Graduate Council Research Committee. I'd also like to welcome and recognize Ms. Robin Piles. She works in the Office of Research and Creative Activity, and especially in the Office of Research Integrity. She is the compliance manager for WKU to ensure that all activities pertaining to research are in compliance with any federal, state, or local policies. So Ms. Piles, would you like to introduce yourself? And thank you for taking your time to join with us.
Thank you for having me. And as Dr. Kudali said, I'm the compliance manager within the Office of Research Integrity. And we work with staff, faculty, and students to ensure that WKU campus is compliant with federal, state, and local regulations. So.
Wonderful, thank you. So I'll yield now to Dr. Birch, and I'll use these slides. And Dr. Birch, please let me know when to advance, and I'll be at your service.
I forgot I was muted there for a second. So like I had said, I am the chair of the Graduate Student Research Committee, and we review graduate student research grants. We recommend that funding to the Graduate Council. And then just importantly, to be considered for research and or travel grant, you have to submit the required documentation, and we do check that those applications and documents are completed in full, and that's really important. So I would say that if you need any guidance, you can always send me an email. I'm always happy to answer any questions that you may have about graduate student research grants and documentation. And then the QR code here at the bottom takes you to the research and travel grants page. I think you can, there we go. Application due dates for this academic year include one date in fall, which is passed, obviously, and then the upcoming date in spring, which is February 7th. I believe that is a Tuesday. Importantly, that is when the full application is due. So you should be very cognizant of timelines within your own college, because all applications require a signature from not only your mentor or graduate advisor, but also the designee in the dean's office for research. And those signatures and full application materials need to be sent to the necessary parties in your own college prior to them being forwarded on to the graduate school. So you should aim to have your your materials done probably 2 weeks in advance, depending on the timelines in your own college. All right, so like I said, there is an application form, and you do need to submit a budget and a budget justification. Interestingly, the budget justification tends to be the piece that is that we request revisions on, and it is really good practice. We always try to give very helpful feedback when it comes to the budget justification, because it is really important to be able to describe why you need the money and how you're going to use the money, so what the money is for. So your formal application, again, that requires those signatures, your formal budget form, a budget justification, and other materials as necessary that I believe are on the subsequent slides, Dr. Kudali. There we go. So your formal budget form should include any materials or supplies needed, the number of items needed, the quantity, the cost per unit, etc. Any equipment that you may need. Importantly, when you need to travel to conduct your research. For example, you need to go to an archive, you need to be on site to collect specimens, etc. That is where you would include travel as a component to your research project that is being proposed. There is a less rigorous application, or I should say less rigorous materials needed when you're traveling to present at a conference research that is already conducted and already have been accepted to a conference. So importantly, when you are conducting research and you need to travel to conduct that research, that's where you would include travel as a budget line item. And then any participant or human subjects support, cost sharing, that is really important. If you're getting any money from your unit, if you're getting any money from your college to support your research endeavors, you'll want to report that within the budget application forms. All right, so this is where there is less guidance because there are nuances within different academic units about how we do research proposals. So might be nice eventually to create a formal proposal guidelines, but right now that doesn't exist because the way we conduct research in psychological sciences is not the way that folks conduct research in history, right? And so it really is very dependent on the unit guidelines for what constitutes a good research proposal, but you will want to ensure that you get feedback from your research mentor, from your graduate advisor on your proposal. It's really important because it's often the case that graduate advisors can help with things like formatting and, including things like hypotheses or research questions. And these are all very important when you are applying for a research grant. So you want to include the title of the proposed project, the purpose of the study, a study design. So this could be a survey. If you're doing a survey, you're going to want to include what kind of measures you're going to collect, whether or not you conducted a power analysis to know how many participants, but it could also be conducting research in a lab. Again, you're going to want to describe the design of the study, whether or not you need to review original documents in a national archive, for example. Again, you're going to want to include the design of the study and the reasons why that research is important. And the intended use and possible application of results is also really important. Is this research being conducted as part of your master's thesis? Are you intending to publish this research? Are you intending to submit this research to a conference? What are you going to do with the outcomes of your research? So that is also kind of an important piece, something that we definitely look at and sometimes is a little bit scant in details. So you want to make sure that you tell us, because we get just as excited about the potential outcomes of your research as you do. And so we want to know what it is you're doing with your research and what it is you're going to do with those outcomes. Next slide, please. We also want to see a CV or a resume, only one page. It's not too extensive, but we want to see, you know, what it is you've done and what your path has been to where you are now. Importantly, we need a statement from yourself, so signed by you and your advisor, that no materials within the research grant proposal have been plagiarized. It is as simple as saying, I certify that all words and materials are original and have not been plagiarized. It's simply a one-sentence thing, but we do like to see that signed by the student as well as the advisor. And a letter of endorsement from your advisor is also required as part of the research grant application. And so this is something where your advisor just gives us or gives you as part of your application materials a one-page letter of endorsement for the activity. And then of course, if you are doing human subjects research or research with animals, et cetera, you need to get the appropriate approvals through the IRB, the IACUC, or the IBC as necessary. And I'm not sure if Robin, if you'd like to say something about IRBs.
Yes, so that's where we come in with compliance. Our office provides oversight for the work with human subjects, biosafety, as well as animals. Our highest, I guess, category of research is human subjects, and that's what we see the most of in applications. So our website is wku.edu/compliance, and you can find information regarding human subjects research, as well as the other categories that we provide oversight for. You would submit an application with your faculty support through irbnet.org. And you would also have to have the proper city training in place. Most of the time, if everything is in order with your application, it is a 2 to 3 day turnaround. However, if you do plan to work with vulnerable populations such as minors, pregnant women, prisoners, you would need to plan your project more in advance, because it is about a month for review and approval, because you would have to come to the full board meeting and present your project there. I believe that kind of hits it. Yes, here's the city program. Dr. Kudali has that linked there for you. If you are working with human subjects, you are required to complete 2 courses, the Responsible Conduct of Research course, as well as the Social Behavioral Research course. If you are working with biosafety or animal subjects, your trainings that are required will be based around what you're working with.
Robin, you want me to click the link or just move on? What would you prefer?
You can move on. If anybody has any questions with City, that link is provided, and it's really an easy setup. You would just set up your account and then make sure you're affiliated with Western. And you can always get in touch with me if you're having trouble finding the courses that are appropriate for you. And our office will be more than happy to help with that.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
It's just a location, Robin, where you are. So any questions regarding compliance, Ms. Robin Piles handles. And so if you have questions about human subjects research, please do reach out to Ms. Robin Piles. Her contact information is here, including emails, and the main Office of Research Integrity website link and email is also available. The Graduate School and the Office of Research are situated on top of the hill in the Weatherby Administration Building, WAB. The ORI office is on the 3rd floor. The Graduate School and the Office of Research is on the 2nd floor. So this picture is a nice visual indicator of where we are located. All right, Dr. Birch, please take it away.
Yes, so for students who are requesting travel support only, this is when you are the first or presenting author on research that has been submitted to a conference. There's a maximum allowed amount of $1,000 for travel to present research. Again, it is really important to emphasize the presentation portion requirement of the travel grant. It's not that you can't apply to receive travel funds from, say, your department or your college, but that we tend to prioritize those who are presenting research at a conference. Again, a formal budget form is needed, and this would include things like lodging, registration fees for your conference, potential transportation, whether or not you are driving and requesting mileage reimbursement or some airfare support. Food and incidentals should follow the general schedule. And then cost sharing, again, is important if you are receiving funds from your department or your college to support your travel to conferences. It is important that you report that in the formal budget form as well. And we also want to see the presentation details. So the abstract of the work that you are presenting, the conference details, as well as a statement, again, describing how participation in the conference is supporting the future goals of the student. We love to see, that you are going to these conferences and have an idea about what it is you're going to do with this in the future, or how this is supporting your development as a scholar. And then, of course, a one-page resume and a plagiarism statement, again, is also important. Thank you. So some fundable expenses are listed here. And, we've kind of gone over this a little bit, but this goes into a little bit more detail. For example, if there's a cost to procure information or media that is not otherwise available, stationery supplies, postage, for mailing questionnaires if you need to do that, special materials, equipment, etc. And then some tips, tricks, and helpful hints for preparing your research proposals and travel proposals. So one is don't use jargon. So myself, I am from the Ogden College of Science and Engineering. Dr. Lily Juadar is in the Gordon Ford College of Business, and Dr. Marla Zubel, I believe, is in Potter College of Arts and Letters, right? And so we have various degrees of expertise, but I'm gonna be very, very honest. I don't understand jargon used in chemistry, for example. And so we want to be able to read any application and understand what's going on. So it is really important to be able to communicate to a lay audience. I mean, scientific communication is an important component of our education as scholars and researchers. You want to be able to describe the, again, project objectives, the anticipated outcomes. If you have hypotheses, include your hypotheses. If you have research questions, include your research questions. We want to see all of that. And then be able to discuss the significance and the impact of the research being conducted. Why is it important? We often do research because we are advancing the field or trying to investigate something that hasn't been previously investigated. So definitely tell us via your written communication what's going on with your research. And then if you advance the next slide, there we go. Describe your methodology in a way that generalists can understand. Again, this is scientific communication or scholarly communication for a lay audience. It is very important because we have varying degrees of expertise on the research committee. Request funds that are reasonable and critical for the success of the research. We're going to start questioning if a brand new laptop is needed, for example. There's been a few things where we've questioned the need, and we might ask for more information if that is the case. But you're going to want to make sure that you're requesting funds that are reasonable and critical for the successful completion of the research. If you have plans to present the research, please let us know. Be mindful again of the timeline. This one is again really, really, really important because the due date for spring, February 7th, is when the materials are due to the graduate school, but there are like signatures and things you need beforehand via your department and your college that you need to allow adequate time for. Spelling and grammar check, those are important. And then a detailed budget justification for each line item. So when traveling to a conference, for example, you don't want to say it's too far to walk from the airport to the conference location, so I need an Uber. That is kind of implied that you're going to need transportation to your hotel. So you can say transportation to the conference location or to the hotel from the airport is needed, and the anticipated cost is this, for example. And then next slide, please. All right, so funding amounts. There's a $2,000 that you can request, up to $2,000 over the course of your time in your graduate program for research grants, and then up to $1,000 for travel. You have to follow the purchasing policy. That is important. All materials need to be submitted to GS Research Grant at wku.edu. Again, the completed applications are due February 7th. If the applications are not submitted to the correct email address, the application won't be considered, and then incomplete applications will not be considered as well. So you can apply for up to 2 research and up to 2 travel grants per degree. Again, there is a cap on the amount that you can request. You need to ensure that if you are requesting travel support, that you are listed as a co-author or a first author that is presenting, right? So you are the presenting author on work that is being presented at a regional, national, or international conference. And there is a cap of up to $3,000 in total for research and travel grants per degree. We review applications. The Graduate Council Research Committee reviews applications typically once during the fall semester and once during the spring semester. So students who are anticipating conducting research over the summer months should submit their materials for the spring deadline. And then priority is given to students who have not already received prior funding. you should be able to identify the research questions or hypotheses within the research that you are conducting. You need to make sure that what the funds that you are requesting are fundable expenses. Expenses incurred prior to receiving the grant are ineligible for reimbursement. Proposals aimed toward publication or presentation at professional meetings are absolutely encouraged. We're really very proud of the work that our students do at Western Kentucky University, and we love to see our students presenting at conferences, and it's just really awesome. And again, like I said, on the research committee, we like to see that you have plans to present or that you are presenting, and it's one of the ways that we can communicate the excellence of Western Kentucky University to regional, national, and international audiences. And then again, really important, keep in mind that receiving a grant is a lengthy process, applying for one is a lengthy process, and so you want to be able to give yourself, your advisor, your unit, your college, et cetera, enough time to be able to get that grant signed, get the signatures that you need, get the supporting documentation that you need, and having it moving through the appropriate channels and submitted in a timely manner is really important. All right. Again, all materials are due to GS Research Grant at wku.edu by February 7th, 2023. That is the upcoming spring deadline. You will receive an email notifying you of the decision regarding the application. We really try to get these reviewed in a very timely manner and get recommendations to the graduate school in a timely manner. It definitely depends on the number that we receive. For example, in the fall semester, we received 38 or 39 applications. So that definitely took some time to review everything appropriately, but we definitely try to get this turned around very quickly. And then once funds have been awarded, you will be contacted. It typically takes 2 to 3 weeks to set up accounts as necessary. And additional information. Any questions?
Well, thank you so very much, Dr. Birch and Dr. Piles, for your presentation and providing high-level information regarding opportunities for research and creative scholarship. We have about 3 minutes left, and we would welcome questions from the students. It's a very quiet audience today. So I'll just take this opportunity and Dr. Birch, we follow each other on Twitter, and it's very heartening to see your prior students always talking about the opportunities they have had to travel and present their work from WKU. So if you could just talk broadly about how pursuing research, even if a student is not in a thesis track, can help in communication skills and other leadership skills, it may be very important. There are a lot of transferable skills they learn during writing the grant, conducting research, and having an opportunity to meet with their peers, and having the opportunity to go to a conference where experts in the discipline share their new knowledge.
Yes, absolutely. So again, I'm the program coordinator for the Industrial Organizational Psychology concentration of our Master's in Science and Psychology program. And IO psychology is one of those disciplines that tends to be very applied. So there's sometimes a really difficult time to, or it tends to be somewhat challenging for some students to recognize that getting a master's degree in IO psychology, for example, is one where research is actually very valued, even though you may not fully or immediately understand why knowing how to conduct research and communicate research to a lay audience can be very beneficial in an organizational setting, for example. So for example, students in our IO program, they come in thinking they're going to be able to work in an organization without sometimes understanding the value of conducting research or knowing how to design research and then communicate research findings to a high level audience is valuable. And so when they come in and they recognize that that is a valued component of our Master's of Science in Psychology program and in our IO Psychology concentration, then they start to get really excited about the opportunities that conducting their own research can bring, but also then going to conferences and being able to communicate those research findings, sometimes to experts in IO psychology, sometimes to a more broad audience, is very beneficial. So our students, particularly in IO and our psychological sciences concentration, have been very successful in going to conferences and communicating their research findings, getting published, and then sometimes going on to PhD programs and sometimes going into, lucrative practitioner careers, but understanding the research design process and being able to communicate research is one of those things, like Dr. Kudali said, that is very, very beneficial because it does give you practice in oral communication, written communication. And I mean, if you look at any job description, those are two things that are very, very, very valuable to any job that you're going to be doing in your futures. So participating in the research process as a graduate student or within your graduate program or certificate program can be very beneficial to your future careers, whatever that may be.
Thank you so very much. Please join me in giving appreciation to Dr. Katrina Birch and Dr. Robin Pauls for their insight regarding the graduate research grant process. Thank you so very much, Dr. Birch and Ms. Robin Pauls, for taking your time to be with us. I'd like to now welcome and recognize Mr. Brandon Smith from ROTC. Mr. Smith has some exciting details about scholarship opportunities. And so, Mr. Smith, thank you so very much for joining with us and talking about opportunities from ROTC. I yield to you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks for a few minutes here. I'm really thankful for that. And I'm Brandon Smith. I work here at Western in the RTC department. I'm a former Army officer, and now I work for the RTC program, helping students who want to grow as a leader and develop their leadership skills, but also too for students that are considering becoming an Army officer. That's what ultimately the RTC program is designed to do. But I understand too that not everyone has that in mind, or you might not have ever thought of that, which is totally fine. I'm really here just to give you some information, and then we can always talk at a later time and just answer any questions or concerns you have. But really the kind of the big takeaways is that you can finish, you can do our program in 2 years and 4 semesters. And we have 100% tuition scholarships available that pay for those 2 years. They pay for the fees. You actually get a book stipend and then a monthly stipend of $420. So just to help you out there with school. And on top of that, we have room and board funding as well. So that way cost is not an issue for you. You can study any degree program, any master's degree. And so that's open as far as the Army is concerned. And you can go on to medical school or law school, different specialties as well. So consider that. But it's a little bit different as an officer. You might have, you're thinking of basic training, different things like that. But that is not required for an officer at all. We will need to catch you up in the program, as it is traditionally a 4-year program, but like I said, we can finish in 2 years. You do need to be on campus for the military science class, so not all of your classes need to be here. You can take them online, but the military science class is in person, and you do need to be a U.S. citizen to commission as an Army officer. So briefly, the way it works, it's not a huge time commitment. You take 1 class per semester. We do physical fitness training and a 2-hour leadership lab. So most of your nights and weekends are free. Because we know you need to study, we know you're here for grad school, so that is very important. And yeah, so I think that covers a lot of it. But I'm going to post my information in the chat, so feel free to reach out. No pressure whatsoever, but feel free to reach out to me just for more information, and be happy to share that with you.
Well, thank you so very much, Mr. Smith, for taking your time to join with us and talk about exciting opportunities for our talented graduate students. And we have the email of Mr. Smith, the main office number, and also his personal cell phone number. So thank you so very much again.
Thank you so much for your time.
I'll now yield to Dr. Scott Gordon, who serves as the Recruitment and Retention Manager, and he will facilitate a panel that consists of graduate students and introduce the graduate students. So Dr. Gordon, I yield to you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Everyone, glad that you've stuck with us through the orientation thus far. And this is really the time when you're going to have some opportunities to hear from currently enrolled students, and also to ask some questions of them. So really what we're going to do over the next few moments is ask a few questions to all of our participants, who I'll introduce in just a moment. But then we'd like to reserve some time at the end for you to ask your own questions, which you can do by either putting them in the chat or by unmuting and asking the question. So first of all, let's go through and meet our distinguished panel. First of all, we have Mr. Roderick Mall. Roderick, would you like to say a few words about yourself?
Sorry, I was me. Absolutely. My name is Roderick Mall. I am a native of Birmingham, Alabama. I graduated undergrad in 2018 from Miles College in Alabama, and I transferred here to WKU to get my master's. And also now I'm in the doctoral program, the EDD program, Educational Leadership.
And should have mentioned that Roderick is with College of Education and Behavioral Sciences. From the Gordon Ford College of Business, we have Kirsten Hooks.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kirsten Hooks. I serve as our marketing coordinator for Housing and Residence Life on the Hill. I graduated from WKU in 2018. That's when I started. 2018 from the Gordon Ford College of Business, and then started my master's soon after through the College of Business. I'm set to hopefully complete next spring and be able to have my master's in the MBA program.
Wonderful. Representing the Ogden College of Science and Engineering, Mr. Zulfikar Haider.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zulfikar Haider. I'm from Bangladesh, actually. I started my graduate last semester. I'm in computational mathematics concentration. I completed my undergrad from Bangladesh, from University of Dhaka, and after 7 years of doing a corporate world job, and then I started thinking of pursuing higher study. Then I applied and got into WKU and started. So far, it's pretty much like it. And I'm also a graduate assistant here. So if you guys have any kind of question related to how's my experience with the students and how I'm dealing after being after a long study gap of being in a job field and then shift back to education, then I would be happy to help you guys.
Wonderful. And finally, we have from the College of Health Sciences and Human Services, Anna Sweets.
So hi, my name is Anna Sweets, like you said. I started my graduate program just this past fall studying speech language pathology. I completed my undergraduate degree also at WKU just last spring in 2022 in communication sciences and disorders. I'm also a graduate assistant within the Department of Communication Sciences and Disorders. So I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
Okay. So wonderful. Well, thank you very much for all of our panel participants, and just kind of a few questions, and we'll just, everyone can just take this as you will and answer the questions. But first question for our group today is, what is something different about your graduate program as compared to your undergraduate program?
I can jump right in. The first thing that comes to mind, and I'm not sure if this is true of the other colleges, but for the Gordon Ford program, all of them are shorter. So they're 6-week courses by terms. And that was kind of a struggle for me at first, because classes that I struggle more with, like finance and accounting, it's harder to learn it quick if you're not as good at it. And so I think that was a really big shift for me, was just going to more content and less time, and having to really make time to study while also balancing a full-time position. Because I think as a college student, as an undergraduate student, there's this student first, student first, student first. And then when you're in a professional position or even a GA position, it's, well, you need to get your job done and then you study. So it's just kind of a different mindset for a lot of folks who are balancing multiple things.
Oh, that's a great insight. Any of our other panelists like to discuss that question?
Absolutely, I can jump in with that. So I understand that for the different programs, there are different schedules for different classes. So whenever I left from Alabama to come here, all of my classes I was on the advanced end and track. All of my classes was on the Saturday. So just to piggyback off what, Ms. Hook said, is that knowing how to balance, going from maybe going to class Monday through Friday to maybe just going to classes on Saturday with internship, graduate assistantships, and all those different opportunities about how to maximize what you're doing at those places to be able to, get your work done on time and things. So, but absolutely, it's because we don't have by terms, we have like, full semesters or on the weekends. So making a schedule right off bat, as soon as you get your schedules, that exactly what you're going to do and how it's going to work for the remainder of the semester.
No, that's a good point. Any other panelists have anything to add to that? Things that you've noted that you particularly noticed were different about grad school that in comparison to your undergraduate program?
For our class, again, just the class timing difference. We went from having classes like Tuesday and Thursday, or Monday and Friday, to having just one class a day, Monday through Thursday. And so it was just one big block of classes. So that was a really big shift. And then there's also a greater emphasis, at least within our department, on your internships and reaching out in the community and actually applying what you've learned, as opposed to, book studying, taking the test, doing a little bit of service here and there. But there's just a really large emphasis on service within the community that I really love, and it's really helpful.
Okay, great.
Okay, I would like to jump into, because as an international student, being in US is kind of like hard to me, because where I'm from, we have no semester system. So we have like year system. So we have to study all our courses in a year, and at the end of the year, we have a lots of things to study, to sit for an exam and do well in our grades, which is kind of like hectic, messy, and most of the time we don't even remember what we started at the beginning of the year with what, and we don't even remember what we actually learned. So, but here when I started here, for the first couple of months, it's kind of like hectic to me, because I was struggling with the time management thing, with the continuous deadlines. I was kind of trying to do everything on time, but sometimes it's get messy. Sometimes, if I can remember, in the middle of the last semester, there was a deadline for Wednesday midnight, and I have to submit like 5 assignments at that time, and it was like I was so messed up that time. My apartment room was so messy. I was just everywhere. If I step foot on anywhere, it's like everywhere there's the sheets and lots of email coming from professor. Like there's no message in the body. It's like a subject, hey, do you have any research progress? Because I have to expose to research, and it's kind of new thing. That's not actually a common thing in where I'm come from in my undergrad or grad student. So it's kind of like a new experience. I kind of like it because I like to adapt things so quickly. So I'm adapting, still learning. So yeah, it's kind of different, it's fun, and it's crazy. Thank you.
Different, fun, and crazy. I think that's a great
Yeah.
description of
Yes.
graduate school, just in a short sentence there. So,
Yes.
all right. Well, thank you all. Next question, and especially for students that have been in their programs a little bit longer. What's something that you've learned during the program that you wish you'd known before you started?
Learn how to decode research papers. Because I'm from mathematics, because most of the research paper says some equation and then jumps back to another equation, and there is a like huge gap, like 2 or 3 page of mathematical calculation gap, and I have to rethink about how they came with the process, and I wished I could have learned those things very beginning when I was starting my undergrad with mathematics, but I didn't. But now it's tough, but I'm trying to learn. So that's all about it.
Okay, no, that's a good example.
Yeah, thank you.
I would say kind of 2 things I've learned as I've gone along is to start early. I think in undergrad classes, it's easy sometimes to wait till the last minute and turn in the quizzes right on time or reply to the discussion boards right on time. But as a graduate student, you're held to a lot higher standard. And so for me, if I can start the assignment as soon as I get it, I know I have it at least started. And I've seen that stands out for professors because not everyone can do that. So I try to make time Mondays and Tuesdays so I can get started on a weekly assignment. And so that's been really helpful. I think also too, just being honest with my professors at the beginning of the semester about what my situation looks like. So I work for Housing and Residence Life with college students. And as you can imagine, that can be a little crazy sometimes. And my schedule can kind of change on the fly. And so I always make an effort to introduce myself to my professor via email and just say, hey, this is my situation. I'm excited for your course, but know that things sometimes pop up. And with that, they kind of keep your name on their radar and I think are more forgiving when things do happen. And so making connections with my professors has been something I've tried to do more in the graduate classes than I did necessarily in undergrad.
And I think that's a great point. I think most people are going to have a much stronger working relationship with a faculty member at the graduate level than maybe you have at the undergraduate level. Your classes tend to be smaller. The instructor will know who you are and you'll know who the instructor is. So keeping those communication lines open is a great idea. So Roderick, were you about to say something?
Oh, absolutely. Ms. Hooks, I definitely applaud you for saying making connections with your faculty. Now, I did want to add on to that because that's one of the things that I was going to say, but I will say is detrimental that you also make those connections with your peers as well. And it's important, I mean, on a whole new level in graduate school, because a lot of times we will be put into group work. So knowing who's dependable, knowing who you can work with when you study both in and outside of the classroom is what saved me both during my master's and during my doctoral studies. So making those connections with your peers is pivotal. And I'm not saying that, you do have individuals who don't want to connect with others on that type of level because you just you're busy, have family and those different type of things, but at least want somebody that you can always, go to or communicate with in a time of need, because you will be in a time of need at some point during your educational journey in graduate school. I also want to say, something that I wish I would have knew is have fun. Is one thing to be able to do your work and, brag about, oh, I'm doing an internship, I'm doing GA, doing my schoolwork. But is on a whole different level, when you are actually enjoying yourself outside of academia. We all have a life outside of academia. So be sure to partake in self-care and, celebrate those small accomplishments that you do have. Even if you make an A on the paper, hey, that's enough, and that's, helping you get to your ultimate goal. So continue to do good, and I think that the rest will follow.
Great ideas.
I'll just reiterate everything that everyone's already said before. I'm still young in my graduate school journey, I guess, just one semester in. But everything everybody said so far is like completely on the money. That's exactly it. I would also like to add, don't be afraid to schedule yourself. Like, be sure to leave plenty of time for everything, especially because I commute, and I know several of you guys are also probably going to commute. So it's always important to consider, like, okay, I have class, and then always schedule time for studying. Like, that's the most underrated thing, in my opinion, because otherwise you're just going to fill yourself up with like GA and internship and driving and class, and you're just not going to leave yourself time to either study or eat sometimes, or, self-care, have fun. So just always keep that in mind, I guess. But everything everybody said is exactly right. So.
Well, wonderful. So, well, this is kind of continuing in this same vein. What are some suggestions that you have for our new graduate students? Things, necessarily that kind of things that you realized about yourself, kind of things that you've learned, or things that you've, as Roderick said, maybe learned from your peers. What are some suggestions that you would put out there for students who are just now getting started in a program?
I want to start by just reiterating something that was already mentioned in what you already had talked about, and that was research. I came to WKU with no research experience, only, writing paper, maybe some annotated bibs or literature reviews, but nothing too significant to where that I did research. When I say that research has a profound impact on not only your educational journey, but your professional career, they've said this, but as a student, I just want to reiterate this, because when you do research, you have to make all the dots connect. When they're talking about linear, making stuff straight, and having a clear and concise point. And that's when you are in your professional career. If you're all over the place and you don't know what you're talking about, or you just doing things just to do it, then if you go in there and you connect the dots, and you know exactly what you want, you know how you're going to get there, you know everything that you want to do, that's what research does. It helps you with a linear path. And I think that engaging in research not only help you professionally and academically, but just in overall life in general. But don't shy away from things that you don't typically want to do, because then you're having your mindset that I don't want to do it, or I can't do it. You don't think that you have the knowledge to do it, but all you need is the resources, and WKU has the resources. The graduate school does, particularly. Your professors, your peers have the knowledge and resources to be able to get you there, because even if you have to spend, a couple of hours just understanding one concept, even learning one concept will help you to gain that other concept that you need in order to be able to engage in research.
That's a great point. Just as Roderick said, you may not know how to do everything when you first get here, but don't be afraid to ask, because that's what faculty are here for. And it's much better to ask and to know how to do something than to try to fake it till you make it, because sometimes that you run out of time doing that. So who else would like to just address suggestions for the new graduate students?
Yeah, I was just going to say, be willing to give yourself grace. I really struggled when I started because I'm not the typical student. I'm not graduating in 2 years like most students do. I'm taking it a little slower, and I really struggled with that at first. I was like, oh, I'm just not graduating as quickly as other people. This is the first time I've dropped a course because I didn't think I was going to pass, because it was a really busy semester and life happened. And I really struggled with, crap, I have to drop this class, I'm a failure. But I knew it was better to drop than to fail. And so I think I've learned a lot of lessons on, like, it's okay as long as you graduate at some point. Take your time, give yourself grace, and as long as you're making an effort, it's okay to understand that life happens, and this is harder than you've probably ever done before. And so kind of give yourself some space in that. I think also recognizing C's get degrees sometimes. And so even if you were an A+ student in your undergrad program, you may not be in your graduate program, and that's okay. As long as you can kind of make the connections and get the knowledge and graduate, that's what really matters.
you. Any other suggestions? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. I was gonna say, I think it's important to just like said previously, give yourself grace. Remember that you're still a student and don't be afraid to try new things, especially with research too. And in your internship, like you're still a student, you still have professors to go to and ask for help. And so don't be afraid, even if you make a little mistake, it's okay. You're still learning, and that I'm still learning that too. That's something that's always going to be in progress. But just don't be afraid to try new things, especially with research. I want to reiterate, because I am dabbling a little bit in research with some of my professors, just kind of seeing what it is, because I don't know if that's something I want to go into, but I won't know unless I try it. So just always be open to trying new things, saying yes to whatever opportunity comes your way, as long as you can handle it, of course. You know, don't overbook yourself, but yes.
Well, I think time management is the key to success here, because if you don't manage your time, then everything will fall apart and you'll ultimately end up having devastated or some kind of stuff. So I will say manage your time properly, and everything will fall in line. And don't worry about anything, any grades and how you are doing, because at the end of the day, you will see the results, how you are doing. If you deal with the study, deal with the lectures and pay attention to your class, then and pay attention to how to communicate with your professor. And main thing is ask everything. If you don't understand anything at the first time, ask. They will answer you every time. If you ask them 50 times, or you just take an appointment with them in their office, they will explain it everything in a proper manner, the way you can understand. So don't hesitate to ask. And most importantly, have fun as much as you can. Don't stuck in the research work and the study always. Just have fun, enjoy, and that's it. That's the goal I'm just set up for my next semesters, because that's what I get from the last semester, that I should do this kind of thing that will help me grow upcoming semester.
Excellent. Well, those are some great suggestions from all of you, and I think that's wonderful information for our incoming students to hear. Those are the questions that we had prepared beforehand. So now we'd like to hear from our participants, not on the panel, but our participants in the orientation. What questions do you have? As I said, feel free to put those in the chat, or to just unmute and ask. And we've got 4 experts here on student life at Western Kentucky University that can answer those for you. Surely someone has a burning question that, they've been keeping them up at night and they're not sure how to answer it. And, this is your time. As we said, ask questions when you don't know things. This is a good practice run at being able to do that. Not seeing anything in the chat, so we'll give everyone a few more minutes to think of a few questions, and then any other bits of wisdom that you would like to provide, or things that you want to?
I thought of something. Something that was new to me when I started the program was the advising process, because you don't necessarily have to meet with an advisor every semester to do your next semester. Advising, I don't know if that's true of every program, but that was true for me. And that was a struggle, because I was like, oh my gosh, I have to meet with someone, and I want to know my plan, and I want to walk through it and make sure it's okay. But know that you can meet with someone. There are staff that are super willing to help you and kind of help you map out what your courses are going to look like. It could be over Zoom, in person, or even just, hey, this is my plan. Can you make sure it looks okay over email? And so I not only asking your professors for help, but know that there's advising staff and graduate staff available that can help with just the actual kind of rhythm of your semesters and what makes sense. Like a lot of students struggle with this course. Maybe you should take this one as your hardest class this semester and then take a couple easier ones. Things like that, they're going to be the experts. And so definitely leaning on them so you don't set yourself up for failure and take like a really hard semester course load if you don't have the time. So that would just be kind of a piece of knowledge I've learned being in the program.
And I think that's great. And I would just, amplify that a little bit and say, if you ever have a question and you don't know who to ask the graduate school, ask some of our staff. If we don't have the answer, we can at the very least put you in contact with someone who will have the answer and be able to help you. So never be afraid to ask questions. So.
Right. Thank you for that, Hooks. Maybe there's some questions you all have that you maybe want to do that you don't think is possible. Maybe you want to ask those questions. But I will say, as far as like seeking opportunities, that was one thing that I did know that I had the opportunity to do in the graduate school was study abroad. I studied abroad, and actually that was something that I wanted to do for fun. Did it, and it also turned out to be like a lifelong adventure because I've been like maybe 5 times to that same place since I've been, and I went in 2019, and I've been like 5 times since then. So that's something that was fun. It was engaged academically. I got an opportunity to do research in the other country. I got an opportunity to make lifelong connections. I have a reason to travel out of the country now and different things. So that was one of the things that it was totally new to me that I didn't think was possible. But what you don't think is possible sometimes is very much possible.
Roderick, where did you travel?
I went to Tanzania. That's on the continent of Africa. So,
Very
yeah.
cool.
Great observations, Roderick. Thank you very much. So pause again to see if we have any questions. Again, not seeing any questions coming through the chat. If anyone who's logged on here has a question, we would certainly love to take that at this time and submit it to our panel of experts here. So we'll wait just a moment and see if we do have any questions.
I'm just gonna do one more as someone who is in graduate school but also works here at WKU. Get to know the office administrator of your department and be nice to them. They can help you with almost everything. So whoever your office associate is for the program that you're in, you're gonna want to get on their good side.
Always great advice. All right, well, if we don't have any other questions, thank you very much. Please join me in thanking our panelists for their insights and their time today. And with that, we will turn the program back over to Dr. Kudali.
Well, thank you, Dr. Gordon, for helping me and in facilitating the discussion. So please give a shout out to the students and to Dr. Gordon for their excellent job. Thank you so very much, each of you, for joining us virtually. As you had seen these presentations from Dr. Lavis, from Dr. Birch, Ms. Robin Piles, and Ms. Jessica Doris, we are deeply interested in your success during your graduate studies. And all of us, including your program, your department, your college and support units, the Graduate School Office of Research and Creative Activity, the Office of the Provost, the Counseling Center, etc., are here to help you have a very positive and enriching graduate education experience. We are committed to your success. You can see this button. I think it truly reflects who I am. I love graduate students. I'm deeply passionate about graduate education and deeply invested in the success of each of you. So thank you so very much for joining with us again. And we hope that you will have a great spring semester. You know where to reach us. If we cannot provide you an immediate response, we will direct you to the right concerned unit or individual on campus. So thank you again, and so long from the Graduate School regarding the new graduate student orientation.